So some of you might know that at the start of my YouTube channel, I was a TF2 trading YouTuber. I did trading series, I made trading guides that all this time later are completely useless. And all of my videos were about cosmetics, items, trading, all of that. And I guess still are sometimes, but it was literally everything I did back then. Oh, and they also look like this. Yeah, I'm not proud of myself either. But I pretty much stopped most of my trading stuff in like 2016 or something, like quite soon after Warpaints came out. But something to do with trading has been going on for a long time, and I'm genuinely surprised that it's still happening. In-game trading has been broken since around October of 2023. Or at least that's when I first started noticing it. There's a really good chance that this was broken for years before that, and I didn't know. So basically what happens is whenever you try and send a request to somebody in the game, it just times itself out. The window doesn't even open anymore, and you're just sat on the screen staring at the timer and waiting for it to go down once the person accepts. You are literally stuck staring at that screen the entire time. You can't close it, you can't carry on playing, you can't do anything else. So that's good. Now, this used to be the way that I did most of my trading back when I was still doing it really actively. And I do think because of that, I am biased into thinking that this system was really nice and I enjoyed this way of trading way more than the current way of doing it. It was just a lot easier to trade with people in a specific server without having to add them to your friends list and everything like that. It was just easy. You could negotiate for items in there. You didn't have to add them, send trade offers, or any of that stuff. But trading has changed a lot since I was doing it. Most people just send trade offers now to bots or someone selling a specific item that they want. And most of the human element of trading seems to be mostly gone. Bots have completely taken over the space, and you have no reason really to pick trading with a human over a robot that will accept your trades instantly and is actively trying to undercut every human anyway. But the feature is still in the game. There's still a big button in the item page for trading with other players that doesn't work. How are new players supposed to know that that button doesn't work? How do they know that this isn't how Valve or even the entire trading community is expecting you to trade anymore? Are Valve even aware that this button isn't working, do you think? I wouldn't be surprised if not, to be honest. Now, the trading bots were taking over the space before the in-game trading system stopped working, but I can't help but think that this has only helped the bots take over by making trading irregular trade servers, like a lot of people did back then, basically impossible to do. If you have to add every single person you might be wanting to trade instead of just being able to do it in-game like you could before, it takes a lot longer, and there's a good chance that a lot of people will just decline your invite, not knowing you're in the same server looking for their stuff. I don't know. It just makes it sound way more complicated. It also used to be a fair bit more difficult to add people from being in game with them. It wasn't impossible, sure, but still not as easy as it should have been if people were trying to trade like that. And at this point, it is just easier looking for a bot because it's faster. But I would probably be slightly more likely, this might just be me, to actually sit in a trade server trading people if I wanted something, if the option still worked. I don't necessarily always want to trade with robots because I want to help out people trying to do what I did when I started. Now, this isn't the first feature that completely broke that Valve has just left in the game as well. So I can't say I'm surprised that the big trading button is still there, even though it doesn't do it. Valve have also left coaching in the game for absolute years, which hasn't worked since Meet Your Match. Because Valve changed the way that matchmaking worked and you can't join from your friends anymore. And that button is still on the main page of TF2, so it's not unusual for Valve to just leave things in the game that don't work anymore. One of my theories as to why they're leaving stuff here is that because they don't actually update the game all that much, they don't really want to be seen to be removing features that don't work rather than adding new features. And leaving it there is easier than fixing it. As much as I'd love to see some of these features fixed, just for the sake of them being fixed, I'm not going to hold out any hope for that. I did want to do a coaching video like people used to do years ago, but it's literally not possible now. And to be honest, I'd do one coaching video and that'd be me done with the feature pretty much forever. So safe to say, could live without it. It does make me think though that the features that aren't working in the game probably aren't features that are being used a whole lot, else Valve would have probably been pushed to fix them a little bit sooner. Or at least the community outcry for these features not working would have been a lot louder than what I've heard. So, for example, when coaching was a thing, I can't assume many people were actually doing that. And I also can't assume that loads and loads of people were still actually using the in-game trading button, because they would have tried to fix it by now, or the trading community would have made a big fuss about it. I think I always get nostalgic for the trading where keys were actually affordable randomly throughout the year, which is probably why I care that that one stupid button on a screen that isn't immediately visible when opening the game doesn't actually work. If I never traded before in my life, it would not bother me that that button did nothing. But because I did, I do. It's maybe a silly thing to dedicate an entire video to, but I kind of thought that considering this was a big part of what I did when I first started TF2 and this YouTube channel, and I've probably clicked that button countless times, and what it meant was a lot of what I spent a fair few years of my life doing. It's what set the groundwork for the channel that you're watching now. It was actually, trading was a big part of my life when I was younger. And to see the button that I used the most just kind of sat there not working, it's a weird feeling. I might be exaggerating a little bit because, again, it's a button in a video game. But I think there's certain things in TF2 that a lot of the community feels this way about. Probably just random things that don't really mean much to anybody else, but maybe meant a lot to you, that doesn't work anymore or isn't the same as it was years ago, you know? That's actually something I want to know. What is something in TF2 that you remember very, very vividly and you get quite nostalgic about, but isn't the same as it was, or it just doesn't work anymore? Like, also, how many of you actually used coaching? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.